So the fight between Rafael dos Anjos and Islam Makhachev is officially cancelled right now because Islam got infected with this staph infection, and unfortunately he couldn't fight. And in this video we're going to talk about the psychological aspect of it all, and what can one athlete, whether you're an athlete, whether you're a business person, or whatever type of person you are, what can you do? Because that really seems like a Murphy's Law. Everything that could go wrong for this guy did go wrong, because it's just so disappointing for any athlete, and it happened to everyone. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it happens to everyone. Sometimes it feels that it's just you in this unfair world. But Khabib Nurmagomedov, and I've talked about him in my previous videos, and I'm going to attach them somewhere here, or just go to my channel and watch a video about Khabib Nurmagomedov. But it happens so many times to all athletes, to be honest, obviously to different extent, right? That just like you feel like you're prepared and you've been prepared so much, like you feel like 100%, and then just something happens and you are not even able to compete, right? And that's very disappointing, because as far as I know, it takes these guys, like they practice for 90 days, like hardcore, before they really go into this octagon. And he spent so much money, probably like around $10,000 just on preparation, even more probably, right? Because he practices at San Jose, as far as I know. Anyway, and it just doesn't work out. And what can you do? Because sometimes those things can either break you or make you. And honestly, my belief is that we have a choice. In fact, I know that we have a choice, and we can impact the reality that seems uncontrollable, right? Because these things are uncontrollable. Like you can't control like what infection, right, you're gonna get, right? You can't control whether you feel prepared the day you fight, or whether the fight even occurs, right? And obviously, as far as I understand, he's not gonna get any money, and he is not like from as far as I know, like all of them are not like from super rich families, and that's like obviously something that's very important for him. And some people even believe that he isn't the next Khabib Nurmagomedov, because they are from the same team, and maybe now that Khabib is gone, he's gonna get more higher ranked fighters, right? Because he's like number 14 right now, as far as I know. I'm not really following too much UFC, but the thing is, and why I'm covering it in my sports psychology channel, by the way, if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe now, is because it's very mental, and the way ranking works, and the way you have to really wait for something, and sometimes this type of bummers happen, and what you can really do about it. Because as much as it seems it's out of your control, a lot is still in your control, and what matters is not that moment when this just happens. Like, what matters is how you really react. And what would I do if I was his therapist? How would I really try to get out of this situation, to be honest? And what I would do is I would use the power of imagination. As weird as it sounds, psychologists, really there are not many works done on the power of imagination in psychology, but it's still like a psychological topic. And basically our reality is what we tell ourselves, right? There is this thing that is more popular in a psychological field, which is autobiographical memory, which is the story that we tell ourselves about our life, right? And there are things that none of us can know what would have happened if this happened or that happened, right? And a lot of times we tell ourselves this really sucky narrative, which could be absolutely opposite, right? Like, if I had a chance to win this fight, or if Khabib was telling himself, if I didn't have to take a break from 26 to 29 years old, I would have become I don't know, whatever, right? But he didn't tell the story to himself, right? He told a different story to himself, and his dad was actually one of those people that helped him to really change and reframe that narrative. That's what we call reframing, right? When something bad and sucky happens in your life, something that you can't control, you have to reframe by using your imagination. So basically what I would recommend to, what's his name? Not that he's asking for my recommendation yet, but probably soon. To that Islam guy, or just really honestly anyone going through just something really difficult, is to really think about how this could be beneficial for him, right? And for him, I feel like it actually is very could be positive, could be something positive. This cancellation of this match and him with the drawing from this match, it could be like a very, very positive thing, because half a year ago Khabib's dad and his coach, both of their coach, passed away. That's still really traumatic. That's still very, even because he was the type of person they really listened to. And I'm not even sure if he's 100% prepared. I'm sure that Khabib did help him in his preparation, and he kind of probably, and that's my guess, I don't know that, but I would assume, because they are always like together, I'd assume that he and his other coaches were really there for him, were really trying to get him 100% prepared. But that dude was so important in his life, and now he has to fight without him, and he has to, as far as I understand, he was really better than this other dude. But as he said in one of his interviews, you never know, because he lost one fight as far as I know, and he didn't lose to like this great guy, because that guy didn't win many matches after that one, after match between Islam. And it's not even about how, sometimes it's not about how difficult your opponent is, it's about how psychologically you are prepared, because especially in UFC, in martial arts, you like don't have even a second. Like if you are not mentally prepared, if you're not 100% in the zone, you're gonna get a punch in your face, and that's maybe even not the worst case scenario that could happen there, right? Anyway, so maybe he could take that and think, oh, you know what, maybe that whole thing, maybe that was just my body, you know, kind of, I don't know, signaling me that I shouldn't, like, I'm not prepared, that I'm not ready yet, and that it could have gone wrong, right? And you have to imagine this basically worst case scenario that could have happened if he did have to fight, right? And that just puts you in this state of mind, like thinking that whatever happens just happens for a reason, and it happens in your favor, just puts you in this positive mindset, and if you think about how now I can actually prepare for my next fight or whatever, right? Better, how this is gonna work in my favor, it's gonna put you in this great mindset, it's gonna make you feel like, it's gonna make you feel great in the process of becoming, I don't know, UFC champion, because I as I've said already, I don't know much about UFC, but as far as I understand, it is gonna take him around 3 or 4 fights to get this fight for UFC championship, for that belt or whatever. You guys, I'm not even gonna pretend that I understand anything that is happening, but basically the main idea here is to really picture in your mind how this, whatever happened, is the best case scenario that could have happened. And obviously there is that rule that I really like, it's like a 5-minute rule. Whatever happens, you have 5 minutes to get upset, and if you can't control whatever happened, after 5 minutes you just stop. But you have those 5 minutes, and I'm not saying that once something like really bad in sports happens, you are gonna have to like get right back on the horse like that second. But if it is something that you can control, and it's really, really unpleasant because you felt so prepared and you just didn't want, like, that's not something you wished happen to you, right? Then you have this 5 minutes, and after this 5 minutes you're using your imagination and you're basically creating your reality and creating your state of mind. And honestly, after 10 minutes of imagining how that could have been like whatever you wanted could have been so bad for you, and whatever you are, whatever is happening to you right now is the best case scenario. It can put you in such a positive state of mind, in a state of mind where you see yourself fighting and where you see yourself winning and where you see yourself really prepared and yeah, really honestly more open to experiences, more open to positive experiences coming into your life. And one of the most important things, and that is something that I really want to pay attention to, is that the end goal is not all that's important, right? The process is so important, because look at Khabib, right? I don't remember how old he was when he got his belt, but he was, I believe, over 30, right? Like, how old is he? He's like 33 right now. Anyways, so it takes like 30 years, right? 24 probably active years of practicing, right? 20, whatever, it takes more than 20 years, right? And you just can't like get to the goal and be unhappy in the process. That is just not how anyone wants to live their life. So you have to make this process as happy as you can. You have to be as happy as you can during the process of reaching your goal. Obviously, there are going to be, as I've said, this like bad situations, quote unquote bad, because what's good, what's bad, no one knows, right? It's all in your mind, it's all your imagination, it's all about the entire life is the story that we tell ourselves, right? It's our autobiographical memory. And our mood, our state of mind, so much depends on what type of story we're telling ourselves. And so many times, and I'm not talking about even other people, like I'm talking about myself, sometimes we are just so negative about, we're taking this negative point of view on the whole thing, how this could have been better or that could have been better or whatever, everything could have been better. But honestly, what if it wasn't better? What if every other choice other than the one you have would have been worse? And that's just the mindset to live with. And once you have, because memory and the way we interpret everything around us and everything that has happened to us really impacts this present moment. In what state of mind are you in this present moment? Because if you're energized, if you're happy, if you feel hopeful, right, what you do, how you do things is really going to be on a different vibrational level. Okay, this is so esoteric, but this is true. I don't even know how to, but even coaches, right? Even coaches really pay attention to that. Coaches really pay attention to how the athlete is practicing, right? Whether or not he or she is energized, whether or not he is giving his 100%. But how can you give your 100% in whatever you do if you don't have this 100% in you, if you don't have the energy, if you're ruminating about something, if you are dreadful about your past and you're always replaying this, you know, this what if scenario, what if it was better, what if I didn't get sick right before the match, what if I didn't do this or did that. So I think I've said a lot on this topic, and that's what I think. That's how I believe, and I know that's how we should approach things that we can't control, and the things that are quote unquote bad for us, we should reframe them and really think about them in a positive way, as weird as it sounds, and then your whole reality changes. And the most important thing that could change is your present moment, how you feel in the present moment, and that really our past, our interpretation, our framing that we give to different types of situations really truly affect that. Thank you so much for watching to this video till the end. Click subscribe button, click all buttons, and go to my channel and watch my other videos.